Happy New Year's Eve. I'm James Parker. It's the James Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. My next guest is someone I'm having on because I've been using his website like a dish rag for the last year, and I've got to first tell him thank you for currentrevolt.com, and also thank you for all the great talk radio show content. Tony Ortiz, your first time on the James Show. Welcome, sir. It's an honor.
James, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. So you run what is billed as Texas' #1 political tabloid. It's kind of like the National Enquirer, but for smart people in Texas, I think. Would that be a fair description?
We like to say so. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and you also do a good job picking up the stories that probably deserve a little more attention that don't get attention for obvious reasons. You're one of the guys like me who push back against the narrative very well. But let's introduce the people listening to someone who, I hope she gets elected in some facets, but then again, I hope she really doesn't. Tell them about Valentina Gomez.
Valentina Gomez. So she's interesting, right? And for the people that I guess aren't super familiar with her, she ran for office. Where was it specifically? Was it
Missouri?
Missouri, yeah, right. And she lost. As far as I remember, she didn't do very well. I think looking it up correctly, she did really poorly. But, she's your typical kind of hot-blooded Latina that she makes a lot of these Twitter videos of her holding a gun and saying a lot of cuss words. And anyway, she's decided to move to Texas and purportedly move to Houston to try to primary Dan Crenshaw. And it's really interesting seeing the reaction to her announcement for running for office because as many do or don't know, the Republican Party in Texas is rather split in factions, a more conservative one and a more moderate one. And both sides equally seem to hate her. They don't like her. So it's kind of funny that they've all found an agreement in disliking just this one specific politician.
Now, she got bust on the scene with that video a few weeks ago where she's calling for public executions of illegal immigrants who commit crimes. But it goes further than that.
Yeah, I mean, she posted a video of herself, I guess a mannequin, and she walks behind it and shoots it with a handgun in the head and then makes a little movie clip out of that. But she wants public executions and all this stuff of illegal immigrants and aliens, and it's just it's a bit much.
Well, and she's really extra on Twitter too, or X, whatever we call it these days. Here's one of her tweets: "You all look fat, gay, and vaccinated." Now, these aren't my words. This is a woman that's running for Congress. And how can you run for Congress when you're making tweets like that? I mean, you don't get to see it because she already blocked you.
Right. She blocked me the minute, we kind of brought it up. But yeah, I don't see how normal people, not people that are just addicted to the internet, don't like their politicians to have a foul mouth like this. You have to represent people. You have to have a level of professionalism. And that's asking a lot of politicians sometimes. But, she just comes across as really crass and gross. And people don't like it. They should say most people don't like it.
Well, what did you say that got you blocked?
I said, she said she was coming out to Texas to run for office. And I said, please don't, we're full. And I got blocked immediately. So.
Well, do we know anything about how she would govern? Because, if she's running against a Dan Crenshaw, as crazy and foul as her mouth is, that's still a maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you can make an argument that it would definitely be more conservative or right-leaning than Dan Crenshaw, which isn't much, to be honest, nowadays. Crenshaw isn't really liked a lot by people outside of his constituency. He's very much a moderate, I should say, and he definitely loves his wars and funding of wars. And she comes across as being the opposite of that. She wants maybe less money being spent on wars and more conservative policies passed. And, there is an argument that she would be an improvement. I guess if I were to be somebody that would be inclined to vote for her, I'd want to know the type of people that are running her campaign and who she's going to keep in her circle of influence. And maybe I would consider, but as is, I think she's dead on arrival.
Well, here locally, we had the DallasExpress.com expose the fact that Kay Granger's been in an assisted living facility for the last 6 months. How wild is it that you could be a public official and be AWOL for 6 months before anyone notices?
It's funny you bring up that specifically. So I love the Dallas Express. They do phenomenal news. It's a phenomenal replacement for what the Dallas Morning News was, right? The Dallas Morning News is a very moderate, left-leaning rag. So Dallas Express has come in and they've done excellent work. But so Current Revolt, we run a paid article once a week that our paid subscribers get. We reported on Kay Granger being MIA back in June.
What? I thought she had only been in the facility since July. But she probably hadn't. That wasn't her first visit, I imagine.
She was having memory issues going all the way back to June.
Okay.
And people were talking about it. And she's been gone for that long, right? Not showing up. So we reported this long time ago. Now, Dallas Express picked up and did the groundwork on it, right? They were able to go and talk to people in the field. But it's wild. And what's crazier, and what Dallas Express reported, Carlos Tercios specifically brought this up, is like her campaign team was still collecting checks. And she's been gone. And they know she's been gone. And so they were making money off this lady in office. And I mean, you can make an argument whether there should have been a special election. She should have resigned if she's having mental issues, right? But I mean, I think if I'm a constituent and she's my representative, my congresswoman, and she's not showing up to represent me, that's a problem.
All right. Tell the people listening a story they don't know in Texas that they need to know, because that's what you guys are good at, is showing me stories I didn't even know existed.
Well, here's a funny one, and we covered it this morning. So Dallas, the city of Dallas spent $99,995 taxpayer dollars to get what looks to be an Indian company to develop an app for them. Okay, and now the dollar amount's kind of interesting because it makes me wonder if once it hits 100,000, there's something else that happens. But they developed an app for the city of Dallas that purportedly or claims to monitor your cell phone to protect it against hacking and other viruses and things like that. But it also advertises that you can use it anywhere in the world. So they mentioned it's for City of Dallas residents, but anybody in the world can use this app. And they claim it doesn't take your info or anything like that. But we looked into it. And we looked into the app, and we had one of our staffers actually install the app. And the app actually harvests a ton of data from your phone. Websites you're visiting, it reads your text messages, and it was scanning the phone sometimes multiple times in an hour. And the fine print says that they are allowed to harvest all this stuff, despite the fact that the city claims that it doesn't. And so the real question is, why did Dallas spend $99,000 on an app for security that is advertised that anybody else in the world can use and harvest data? It's very strange. And I think they were on Twitter advertising it, and nobody knows what the deal is behind it. There's a specific chairman or a specific politician in Dallas that was promoting it, and it's all just very odd. It's odd to see why they would spend money on something like that.
All right, we're talking to Tony Ortiz from CurrentRevolt.com, Texas's #1 political tabloid. I have two more stories I want to ask you about. Can you hang on through the break here?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we'll continue with him because the next thing you want to hear this story too. How much of your taxpayer dollars have been spent on LGBT-themed trips for the LGBT extracurricular activities at Texas A&M? That's coming up on The James Show. I'm James Parker, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome back to The James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. If you got any comments on the scuttlebutt that Tony Ortiz is bringing up from CurrentRevolt.com, which is Texas' #1 political tabloid, you can call in 800-288-9227, 800-288-9227. Now, Tony, my sister and her husband have my nephew at Texas A&M right now. They're spending like a few bucks to send him there. How much of that is going to recruit gay people for faculty and students and field trips and whatnot? I don't understand how this is a part of the curriculum there.
Well, some of it's going to that, right? There is actually in the Texas A&M website, there is the what they call it, LGBTQ Professional Network. And it states its objective is to sponsor and support educational, social, and mentoring activities, and specifically around the LGBTQ topics, and providing a welcoming environment for LGBTQ professionals. And it's just odd, right? Like your money goes to these sorts of things.
Hang on. Allow me to jump in here. I don't want this to be a gay thing. I don't want my tax money to go to support straight events either. How about we just leave sex out of it and work on your degree here?
Exactly. I mean, that's the issue, right? Like we don't need stuff that like pro-gay or pro-straight or pro a specific ethnicity, right? Like people should be judged, especially in a college such as A&M, by their ability to work and their achievements and what they're able to do, not the color of the skin or the type of person they want to sleep with, right? But the university seems to think otherwise. They're hosting this professional network, and they talk about the meetings they have, and it's hosted right on their .edu website.
Does this not run afoul of the recent DEI laws and regulations that have come through Austin?
It's very possible. And a lot of that, what it takes is a strong letter from the Attorney General to kind of put something like that at ease. Representative Brian Harrison has already tweeted about it or posted about it on X, bringing up that, it's potentially an issue. But your tax dollars do go funding these sorts of things. And, A&M is not the only school that does this. Plenty of high schools do this. Plenty of colleges around Texas do it. And it's just a matter of, finding it, talking about it, and hopefully getting somebody involved to ask questions, somebody with power to ask questions about it.
Well, y'all reported previously on Texas A&M being sued over their anti-white hiring practices. I would just like to put a point of reference that every one of these hiring preferences is against me, it seems.
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot of this across colleges in general. There's a lot of anti-white policies in place and anti-Asian, which is interesting, right? It seems that the two races they seem to target are whites and Asians, and they're out there to kind of promote blacks and gays and Hispanics and other races specifically. I'm Hispanic myself, so I suppose it benefits me. But these aren't good, and it doesn't lead to like a top tier society where we're hiring people that are more based on the color of their skin rather than their merit, right?
Well, and look, let me go to the other side of current revolt just to show you we're not a bunch of political hacks here. Last month, y'all had an interesting little expose on a married Republican who was sharing some, improper images, let's say, with a woman who's not his wife, and his wife was pregnant at the time. Yeah.
So this is a funny one. There's a Republican group leader for an organization called Republicans for National Renewal. And we were reached out to by a woman who had matched with him on a dating website. And it's interesting because I know of him, of course, because he's very involved in Texas politics. And I actually do know his wife, and his wife is very much pregnant. And this man, Mark Avano, matched with this other woman on a dating website. And they began talking, and this woman didn't know he was married at the time. And he used his real name, and he used photos that the girl was able to reverse image search. And he's sending her pornographic cartoon images and talking about sexual content with this woman, all while he's married. And he's a Republican. And it's just a wild story because he promotes himself as like a strong Christian conservative Republican guy. And in the meantime, he's trying to arrange a sexual meetup with this girl, a meetup in general with this girl. And it's very hypocritical.
I love the fact, though, that you don't pull the punches just because they're on Team Red. This is an equal opportunity political tabloid here for Texas.
Absolutely. And it just so happens to be that the majority of the stuff actually ends up happening with Republicans, unfortunately.
Because we're in Texas.
Part of that.
Right.
Yeah, and exactly. We're in Texas. It's run by Republicans. We're a red state, and even more red than any time recently. And so it's kind of natural that these stories would come out more with Republicans. But yeah, we aim to just kind of expose bad behavior and corruption. And, sometimes, I identify as a conservative, and sometimes it just happens to hit the home team.
Well, also, I'm starting to feel old here. I'm pushing 50. I'm in my late 40s. And is that how you pick up chicks these days, Tony? You got to send them explicit cartoon images?
I'm almost 40, and I met my wife the old-fashioned way by just stalking her at the office and then having the guts to ask her out. But a lot of the kids nowadays, the younger people, they use these phone apps, these apps to download and match with each other online. And the women have gotten smart with this sort of stuff. When they match with a guy online, they do background checks on them, and they search their images and they match that up. And this guy that got caught, the married one, he was using his real name. He was using photos from his own website, and the girl was able to just find search it, and it showed he has his wife as an employee at his law firm.
Oh my God!
It wasn't hard to connect the dots there. So I don't know. I don't know if he wanted to get caught or if he was just lazy and sloppy, but he got caught.
Well, look, I'm open-minded to a certain extent, so I might try the cartoon stuff with the wifey.
I miss Parker.
See if maybe she'll like that. We'll check it out. All right,
She might be into it.
Yeah, Tony Ortiz, from currentrevolt.com. Thank you very much for being on the James Show. We're going to ask you to be on a regular basis. You have a lot of good scuttlebutt on your site over there.
Would love to. Thanks, James.
All right, there he is. Go to currentrevolt.com. Look, it's one of these. I'm trying to show you the alternative, the new places where we're all getting our information. You sick of Dallas Morning News? Why don't you do Dallas Express? Why don't you do Current Revolt? Sick of Texas Tribune? Well, we've got Texas Scorecard. We've got the alternative sites over there. 800-288-9227 if you have anything you want to jump in on. 800-288-9227. Seriously, I just think it's wild that you cannot go to your job for 6 months before anyone notices. Can you go to your job for 6 months without anyone noticing? I couldn't miss like 2 days without people calling in. Coming up next, we'll talk to an immigration attorney, get an update on what's going on with immigration reform and the border. I'm James Parker. It's News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Hey there, welcome back to the James Show. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Goo Goo Doll fans, listen up. Also listen up if your spouse is a Goo Goo Dolls fan. If your girlfriend, if your daughter, maybe your parents, if they're a Goo Goo Doll fan, I got to give away some tickets. Got to give away tickets to see the Goo Goo Dolls. And it's not happening this week or next week. It's happening July 16th. So you have plenty of time to clear your schedule, ask for your days off, arrange for, passenger transport to Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. We're going to do it with the old Dead or Alive. Mr. Jovi? Hey there. Thank you, Mr. Jovi. Welcome to Dead or Alive. I am your host, James Parker. We're playing today. Tickets to see the Goo Goo Dolls, Dickies Arena in Fort Worth, July 16th. And it's the easier game show that we play on the James Show. Game show on the James Show. Boy, that is a weird alliteration. I list 10 celebrities. You tell me if they're dead or alive. This is going to be the Carter edition since Jimmy Carter died this morning. All of the celebrities in the list. I had to rewrite the list at the last second to accommodate this, but you're going to love it. They all have the name Carter in them. Let's start with Kirsten in Grapevine. Are you ready for Dead or Alive?
I am ready.
Are you a Goo Goo Doll fan?
I am, but I'm going to find another one who likes them more than me.
That's probably what I would do, too. All right, well, let's play. Yeah. We're going to start with Helena Bonham Carter. I know her from the Fight Club. She's been in like 80 things. Is she dead or alive?
Alive.
Alive, 58 years old. Nell Carter from Gimme a Break. You remember the 80s TV show Gimme a Break for 7 seasons? Dead or alive?
She is dead.
She's dead. Died in 2003. Clarence Carter. He sings Strokin'. Is he dead or alive? You know Clarence Carter? Clarence Carter, Clarence Carter, Clarence Carter, that guy. He sings Strokin', Backdoor Santa. You don't know Strokin'?
No.
I be stroking. That's what I be doing. This is like 1986.
Oh, I'm going dead.
Damn it. I feel like I led you wrong. He's alive, but he is 88 years old. Hang on. You're not done yet. You're not done yet. We'll just cycle around in case we have a couple mess ups. Brian in Plano, you ready for Dead or Alive?
I'm ready.
All right, we're on the Carter edition. Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys. Is he dead or alive?
I think that he died.
No. Hold. Hush, Garrett. Steve in Arlington, you're next up on the James Show for Dead or Alive. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Nick Carter from the Backstreet Boys, dead or alive?
He is alive.
Yes. Now, his brother was also a pop star, Aaron Carter. Is he dead or alive?
He's alive.
No, he's the dead one. See, that's what Brian was thinking of when he did it. Let's try Rhonda. Rhonda in Dallas, you ready for Dead or Alive?
Yes.
Okay, we're doing the Carter edition. We're to Dixie Carter from Designing Women. Dixie Carter, is she dead or alive?
She's alive.
Oh, she died in 2010. This is one of the worst episodes ever. We're back to Kirsten in Grapevine. See, I told you. Just
All right.
All right. Let's try Wonder Woman. Linda Carter, is she dead or alive?
She is alive.
Alive, 73 years old. Looks pretty good, too. Cowboys legend, Cowboys player, Quincy Carter, is he dead or alive?
He is alive.
Yes, he's only 47 years old. Lil Wayne, the rapper, his real name is Dwayne Carter. Is he dead or alive?
He is alive.
He is alive. And finally, former First Lady Rosalind Carter, dead or alive?
She is deceased. Dead.
All right, you got it after all. The second chance Thank you for sticking around. I'm glad it worked out for you, Kirsten and Grapevine. Thanks for playing Dead or Alive.